All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I just wanted to talk about the coming summer of violence that is going to be coming, all right? So, you can kind of just feel it in the air, in the vibrations, kind of like how dogs and animals can sense when earthquakes are about to happen, or when someone's gonna go get into a heart attack, or stuff like that. You can kind of just feel the evilness that is coming over the people in today, because people don't know what's coming, and it's almost human nature to have this normalcy bias of, well, it's not happening in my area, so everything's fine. No, it's not happening to people I care about, so everything's fine. It's easy to have that normalcy bias, but we got to be real with how times are getting. So we talked about, last time, the war in Ukraine and how that's going to cause the coming food shortages and, kickstart the events of World War III. So that's going to be a bad thing. But what no one also realizes, China's getting ready to move on Taiwan. And there's no way out of this if you're the United States. You either don't do anything militarily to help Taiwan, losing all of your allies, and our allies would be really pissed and probably fracture everything that, we've worked to build. Or we fight China and engage in the most bloody conflict in human history, which would be World War III. There's no way out of this. There is no way out of this. It's just how it has to be. However, we don't have to play that game, all right? We don't have to participate in that game. We can run, we can dodge the draft, we can get the fuck out, we can do whatever we gotta do, all right? We don't have to buy into that narrative that there's no way out of this for the world, is what I'm saying. Like, for the 95% of people that believe all this shit's real and it needs to be enforced, and every hill is worth dying on these days. Okay, there's nothing we can do about them. And I have friends that are like that, where they don't see it the way I do. They see this political shit and all this stuff as it's real life and it needs to be like, every hill's worth dying on. And I've given up on trying to convince people. But I don't say this in a negative way, like you need to be mean against people. Just let them have their way on things. Let them see everything their way. They'll either wake up to the reality or they won't. Because to them, every hill is worth dying on. So, anyway, you can't let people who don't want to be convinced stop you from doing what you know you're gonna have to do when this shit hits the fan. Because China is getting ready to move on Taiwan, probably in the coming months, probably sometime this summer. I would actually think that's going to happen. But also, if you don't believe this summer is going to bring more violence, then all right, let me tell you what's going to happen when gas reaches at least probably $6, close to $6 a gallon by the end of the summer. Probably closer to $7, actually. People are going to get pissed because they're not going to have money for their Netflix. They're not going to have money for their McDonald's. What's important in life, right? All right. Yeah, no. Seriously, though. They're not going to have money for their little fucking bullshit. So they're going to riot and act like children and throw temper tantrums because that's all they know how to do. They don't know how to prepare. They don't know how to do all these things, okay? If you're not already learning how to grow food, you're going to be you're going to wish you did. So, there's that. But when gas gets more expensive, so will food. Not only because there'll be less of it. Sorry if there's a lot of background noise, by the way. Out on a walk of life, so this next part of the video could be filled with a lot of background. Anyway, there'll be a lot of less food, a lot of demand for it, but the gas to get the food to the stores and the employees and all that stuff, man, like it's only going to go up for how much it costs. And for a country where 70% of us live paycheck to paycheck, how do you see this ending? It's going to end in riots and fights in the stores over the last gram of food for certain meals of the week. Because nobody's together. There's no United States. There's no community. There's none of that. There's no civilization. There's no society. Everybody's all in it for themselves. Nobody cares about the greater good or the greater collective, all right? Yes, there are people who do, but they're the small minority, guys. All right, society's not real. It's just a bunch of individuals trying to get by. We've changed as a species to the point with technology where it's like, there's none of that like, oh, we're humans and togetherness. It's like people don't even talk to people anymore. What are you talking about togetherness? You wanna know why it's so normalized for motherfuckers to just shoot motherfuckers these days? Because you don't know your neighbor anymore, do you? I bet you right now you don't even know 3 people in your complex, in your apartment complex. Keep in mind how I say apartment complex, where back in the day it was like your neighborhood. People actually had houses back in the day. But yeah, you probably don't know more than 10 people in your giant apartment complex. You probably don't even know their faces. There's no society, guys. So when the shit hits the fan, a motherfucker will just kill you if it has to come to it. Or if they have to eat. If they have to make a little bit of extra money. The grand almighty dollar that they rule our souls with, okay? And yeah, I probably sound crazy to like the 95%, but like I said, we can't do anything about them. We have friends that are in that circle. All we can do is help them when the time comes. But for now, stop trying to convince them. Don't even talk about political issues or anything with them, because they'll just see it. When you say it's all fake and not real, they'll just see you as some sort of conspiracy theorist or whatever. So don't even bother talking with them about it. It's not worth it. They're not going to get it. They're not going to get it before it comes. You see what I'm saying? So now is the time to really just focus on your preparations. And yes, you'll help them when the time comes, because you must. If they're people you care about, you must help them when the time comes, even if they made a mistake and assumed everything is A-okay. Anyway, that being said, yeah, when stuff gets super expensive this summer, because keep in mind, people want to rage this summer. They want to party, bro. They want to do all this stuff, but when they realize how expensive life's going to be and how tough it's going to be, and when all that's around them is the coming conflict with China and all that stuff, they're only going to see violence as the only solution. And when you, again, a generation, 2 generations almost, because Gen Z's pretty much old enough now where I'd say we've been raised on technology, millennials as well, and the current generation, Generation A, like you have almost going 3 generations raised in a society where it's not normal to just talk to someone. Like I'm one of those people that are very rare. I'll come up and talk to you in public. I'll ask you questions. I'll do weird shit. I'm recording a YouTube video right now walking down the highway, bro. I'm seeing this crazy, bro. That's because I'll admit it, I am probably a little bit, but that's because I'm a free spirit, you know. I don't let the way the world wants to be tell me how I should, you know, act. I kind of just act the way I want to act, and I don't bother other people, and other people don't really bother me. But yeah, they do see me as like odd, a goofball. I'll admit it. But I'm a goofball who happens to listen to some very smart people, and what I say usually comes to pass. And that's what's sad about it is like people just see it as me just rambling or something, but it's really me trying to warn people, and I've given up on doing that. Anyway, but yeah, you have 3 generations of people raised on we don't care about other people kind of mentality. Like, it's everybody for themselves. I'm the main character. Everybody else is just NPCs. Your opinions don't matter. You're just an NPC. Blah, blah, blah. Like, even though I know that this is all fake, I know that none of this is real, but still, even if you think this is all real and stuff, and it's all part of the game, not just some big game, I still want to hear your opinions. I still want to know why you think this. Because I've seen everything on the contrary. But maybe there are things I'm not looking at. Yet I've never seen anyone be able to convince me otherwise. that this is not all just one big game to create the Great Reset. But maybe it's because I only know, I very rarely know, like I have 2 people in my life that I know think the same way that I do, but they're big picture people. You know who you are if you're watching this video. So they're big picture people. They actually 3 people. They're big picture people. They see things the bigger picture. They don't get caught up in the minute details that don't really matter. And that's why when I own, one of the things I want to do is own my own business someday. And when I do that, one of my right-hand man, or sorry, the leftists might get mad at me, my right-hand woman or non-binary person. Okay, anyway, obviously I like cracking jokes at the left and the right. So if you're going to get mad at the joke I just made, you need to get off this channel right now. We don't do that soft-ass shit here. Yeah. We don't do that here. So, but yeah, my right-hand man is going to be someone who's very detail-oriented. Because I need someone like that to be my right hand. Because I'm already big picture-oriented, but you need to have some sort of detail-oriented person. Because that's why you need to make your strengths, your weaknesses, your strengths. Anyway, we're going on a tangent, sorry. But yeah, you have like 3 generations of people ranging from ages 10 to 42 that have been raised in a society to be afraid of everybody, to not talk to each other, to not even know your neighbor's name. It's not even normalized to go up and knock on your neighbor's door and ask them, can you borrow something? Remember that just used to be how it was? Now it's like, oh, why didn't you call your dad who's like 35 minutes away? Or why didn't you call somebody else, like your friends or something? Nigga, because you're right here. We should be a community, right? I thought that's what it is. We're all a society. We're all in it together. No, see, we're not. It's not like that. It never really was, to be honest. It's just that was the only way it had to be back then. The second we had phones and all this stuff to make it so we could cut out the middlemen in our lives, it's no more. Now it's really just all been exposed. But back then, you could kind of hide that we were in a society because it was kind of the only way to get shit done was to rely on your neighbor. Now you don't have to anymore, so why would you? It's more for you, right? Capitalism. More profit for you, hurts everybody else. But hey, man, you gain more profit. I don't know why I did a mafia accent right there, whatever the fuck I was trying to do. Anyway, but so I just wanted to really talk about that first and why I say a summer of violence is coming, because yeah, we don't live in a society. All right, like, not what you when people say society, you know, you picture what we think of, like cars driving by, people working together at work and stuff. Yeah, but that's not what it makes a society. That's not what makes a community. That's not what makes somebody when shit. That's not what makes a group of people when like things get too expensive to live not turn on each other. When you make us all about a competition, about who's better than who and who's like, for instance, I see people that are brothers fight about who's better, who's got the better car, who's got the better house, who's got the better girlfriend or whatever. When I'm just kind of like, why does any of that matter? Why does that matter? Because you're told it matters, but it doesn't matter. All right, it really doesn't. Nobody gives a shit. All right, you're just annoying if you fight about nonsense like that. Nobody actually cares about you that much to care about who's better. Anyway, tangent over. But if you don't think that, and oh yeah, when I say summer of violence is coming too, I really do mean like you're probably gonna see it. People are just gonna steal from stores in front of you, in front of employees, and if you want to stop them, they'll fight you or kill you because they need to steal this to survive, or at least that's what they're gonna tell themselves. And I mean, it's kind of ingrained in us to do that because obviously we know the government's not gonna come help us. You think the government's gonna come do something? Bro, they don't even want to give us stimulus checks. They don't want to give you stimulus checks, by the way, but they will send $40 billion to Ukraine for people that aren't even here in this country to fight their little war games. So always remember that. They don't want to help you, but they'll gladly send $40 billion away to somebody else. so that way they can set up their own little governments over there and pimp on their population too. Just drown the whole world, why don't we? Just fuck it. We're only just gonna have endless, we're only just gonna have famine. We're only just gonna have a lot of these problems here at home. But who cares? We need to stop Putin. He's such an evil guy. Even though Zelensky is like, forcing people to stay and fight, and they don't want to have anything to do with his conflicts with Putin. Even though Zelensky's kind of a corrupt asshole. No, but it's all just Putin. He's all just evil, so we need to send $40 billion and fuck everything about our future, about what we want to try to do for us and everything. And not to mention, as we bleed our people dry, by the way, we're going to lose this. We lose this war in the long run. Maybe that's what Russia's planning, where we send so much help to Ukraine, right, that when it comes time to fight them in China, we don't have the supplies because there's a supply shortage. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the powers that be are trying to switch the global stage, shake things up a bit, You know what I mean by the powers that be. We're talking about the ones who control it all, the unseen hands guiding the world. Maybe they're just trying to shake things up. I think that's what it really is at this point. It's all Matrix, as I was talking to my buddy about yesterday. It's a Matrix. And they're trying to shake things up with the Matrix, bro. So you can't get caught up in it. Alright, so that's the first thing I'll tell you right now. Don't get caught up in everything that's going on. You cannot care. Just know that a summer of violence is coming and the world's only going to get tougher, and start preparing for it. But don't participate in the garbage, alright? Because that's how you become part of the game. The minute you start participating is the minute you're part of the game, and then you're hooked. And then they got you. Watching everything that they do, playing all these little culture war battles that don't matter, while your food is getting more expensive, while your gas is getting more expensive, while your rent is getting more expensive, while everything is falling apart around you. You're seeing people steal and murder in the street. But no, let's argue about abortion. No, let's argue about what Johnny Depp is doing. Yeah, I didn't even know who Johnny Depp was till yesterday, by the way. Let's argue about what these people are doing, that, this stupid culture war thing. So, yeah, let's argue about all that while, everything else is falling apart around us. So that's kind of the sentiment that's going on, because people can't handle reality. People are too scared of what's coming to even face it anymore, to know that the collapse is coming. Our way of life is coming to an end. We'll have to adapt, and only the strong will adapt. But this whole mental weak shit, I mean, mental health is also going to kill us, by the way. People going insane. It's going to happen. Mass insanity is going to be a thing, by the way. So expect that in the coming future. Climate change as well. It's all just coming, guys. It's coming. The absolute destruction is coming to the system. But don't worry, it's part of the plan. The Great Reset, guys. I'm telling you, it's all part of the plan. We're going to live. I mean, not all of us, of course. Like, people are going to fucking die, bro. I mean, that's obvious, though. Should be obvious. But I'm saying, like, if you're watching this video, you have a decent chance of living because you already get it. So you just got to get it and now move with it. You see what I'm saying? That sounded so fucking ghetto. But anyway, but you got to move with it, as they'd say. So that's the only way I can really put it. There is no fucking big scientific word I can even frame to use for this. You really just got to get it and move with it. Yeah, but anyway, so you got all this shit just happening, and it's gonna keep happening. It's gonna converge into each other. The climate change, it's gonna be hot this summer. It's gonna be blackouts everywhere this summer. So start preparing for that. Make sure if you might have to go 2 nights a week without power. That's how hot it's gonna be. That's how bad the energy grid is. But to me, that signals an energy crisis, by the way. And that's why I think that I'll get into that in an entirely separate video. But I just needed to lay the groundwork for why I do believe there is an energy crisis on this planet that is happening, and we're not being told it, because the governments of the world will panic because they know it's time for war. Then once the resource wars come, that was always going to be the end. Once it became down to, all right, well, we needed war to overpower our civilizations, then that was always going to be the end, and they know it, and that's why. Anyway, enough of that. That's kind of fear-mongering people at that point, because it's not a for sure thing. It's just a hypothesis I'm developing. Anyway, this video is just about the facts. The coming summer of violence is just coming, all right? But here's the other thing. You need to stay ready. Because for you people that believe the government's going to protect you, you're dead wrong. If you think that the government's going to protect you, the cops are trained to protect themselves, above all else. And as things get tougher and tougher around the world, even the most likely of heroes are now going to think about things before they do things, because they're going to be like, man, I don't know if I want to go confront this shooter, because back at home my mom needs me and I'm the one who takes care of her. Or I don't know if I want to go chase down that thief, because he might be armed or he might be able to outmatch me in combat, so I don't want to go after him. I'll let that old lady get her purse stolen, because I got a wife and a baby at home, and they rely on my income, because the monkeypox or the next pandemic basically that's going to happen, there's going to be another pandemic on top of COVID, by the way. It's coming this winter. Get fucking ready for it. I already know it. Has laid my wife off, and now I'm the only income. Like, there's going to be just there's so much mass chaos happening, guys, for the next 5 years. I've been trying to warn you guys, get ready for it. This is why I'm not even talking about the shooting in Texas, guys. But I will allude to this. I don't even care anymore, man. Either we ban guns or we don't. It doesn't matter, because guns are going to be around anyways. As long as we accept having weapons that are meant to kill, there's going to be people that are going to obtain them and use them for nefarious purposes. So unless we destroy all guns as a species, destroy all weapons, there's no way. We need to go back to the days of swords, bro. Swords. Where if you wanted to kill someone, you had to be strong. You can't just wield a fucking sword, alright? But hey, I know a lot of y'all play video games way too much and watch too many Marvel movies and watch too much fucking Dragon Ball and shit. But you don't just be wielding weapons like that. That's not, at least, any coward can wield a gun. But it takes a martial artist to wield a sword. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, if you think the government's going to protect you, we just had little gang violence out in my area. Kid got blasted in the face like 15 times or whatever. The cops kind of just... Dude, they let people walk up to the crime scene. Keep in mind, these are people that are telling me this, that are literally at the crime scene showing me evidence that they were there. Cops just letting them walk up. It's a crime scene. You're not even supposed to... They should be... And they couldn't even find the shooters. And they did the most sloppy job of trying to get the shooter by raiding him and shit. It was bad, bro. It's so bad. It's so bad because it's like... The cops in our area just didn't give a shit about this case. They were more concerned about weed. About the weed. So it's like, if you think they're going to protect you from the gang violence and the mass insanity violence from individuals who can't handle life anymore because they're too weak, and I don't mean too weak in a negative way, they're just not built tough, man. They weren't built tough to handle this. They really thought the world was sunshine and rainbows because it was for so long, and now adult life is smacking them in the face, and it's these sheltered, coddled individuals. They're the ones we're going to be the ones we most worry about, because they're the ones that are going to be snapping when shit gets too tough. They're the ones that are going to be shooting up schools and doing crazy shit, man. So, the ones we need to worry about. And sadly, that's 95% of people in the country. The ones who had to grow up tough, we already know that's not the move. We already know that's not the way. The ones who have been inspired by legends like Goku, we already know that's not how you move. We already know it's not the way. But how many people want to be Goku? Everybody wants to be Vegeta, Jiren or something. Everybody wants to be the cool, edgy dude who kills people and stuff. Ain't nobody want to be the Sonic or the Naruto. Everybody wants to be the Sasuke or the Shadow. It's like, man, we got a lot of Vegetas running around, but not a lot of Gokus. That's pretty scary. As a society, it's pretty scary. Because when shit gets tough, the true evilness in people's hearts is going to get exposed. And that's going to be bad for a lot of people, man. Especially people that are too weak to protect themselves. They're going to be targets. So if you have any family members with disabilities and stuff, I would strongly suggest seeing if there's a way that you can protect them at all times in the coming future. Anyway, not only that, but there is all the reason not to believe as well, because if you think the government's going to protect you when shit gets tough, just tell it those 19 kids that got shot up in a school. All the cops just kind of stood outside because they were just too scared to enter. That's really all it was. Let's call a spade, too scared to enter. I'm not trying to say I hate cops. I'm not trying to say fuck 12. I'm not trying to say nothing like that. I'm trying to start a new movement of just not shit talking anybody anymore. Especially when shit is getting more and more violent. I think the less enemies you can make and the more allies you can make, the better. You're going to want law enforcement on your side when shit gets tough. Because then they might come defend you because you're on their side. You're their buddy. Doesn't mean I got to roll with everything they do. It's kind of like, when I'm a part of the Imperial Legion in Skyrim. I don't support everything the Empire does. In fact, I'm outwardly against it, most of the things that they do, but I stand with the ideals that they represent more than I don't stand with them. But yes, when they do fuck up, I'm the first motherfucker to criticize them, so don't worry. I'll take the fight to anybody, even my own friends if I gotta. But if I take the fight, it doesn't mean a bloody fight. It could just be a civil debate. That's all it needs to be. A simple just, hey man, we gotta chill out. Ain't no reason to be doing all this killing. But yeah. Tell it to the 19 kids who got shot up that, the cops are just gonna rush to protect you, because they're not. Alright? Not unless you're Donald Trump's kids, or Joe Biden's kids, or Barack Obama's kids, or Elon Musk's kids, or Jeff Bezos' kids, or Johnny Depp's kids, or whoever, Justin Bieber's kids, or, unless you're some sort of big name, wealthy person's kids, I don't think they're gonna come rushing to protect you if there's a dangerous situation going on. So this means you need to learn how to protect yourself in any way you can. I don't care if you have to use a gun. I don't care if you have to use swords. I'm gonna use swords, man. Ain't nobody gonna be fucking with me if I have a sword, man. All right, they gonna try to. They don't have to roll up deep. They have to try to catch me with 5 deep. You know what I mean? But I won't be lacking. And let me say this. A lot of people will probably come in the comment section and be like, yeah, well, what would you have done, Terrence? Would you have rushed in that school and stopped him? Yeah, I actually would have. Because, see, I follow the way of the warrior, which is the way of Goku. And the way of the warrior is not, I'm some killer that his death is all around me. No, the way of the warrior is the resolute acceptance of your own death. So even if I knew I would die, I would still do it, just because it's my human right, my human duty to my fellow brothers and sisters to run into that school and defeat that man. Because this is the only thing. It is the penultimate mission that only mattered at that moment. My life is secondary at that point. As far as I see it anyway, in that scenario. He needs to be stopped. He's got to go. I will do anything in my power to make sure that happens. If not, I die trying. It is the way of the warrior. And if you can't do that, then you must not be in those situations. Because you can't be counted to act. Counted upon to act. So that's where I stand on that. Nothing more, nothing else. Anyway, this video is long enough. But yeah, get ready for the coming summer of violence. Sucks to say, but we can still have fun this summer. We just have to be aware that more and more of these events are going to happen. These shootings, these killings, people dying, people snapping and going insane, more civil unrest with the division in politics. Because, dude, we're approaching election season. You guys know that, right? Like, we're about 10 months out of it, I think, right? So as shit ramps up, guys, as we prepare for 2023, like, if you thought 2020 was bad election and 2016 was bad, you have not, dude, I've already said it in the last video. You might see flat out fucking revolution in the United States in 2024. You really might. Just get ready. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, I'm out.